Mee-Yan,
Okay,
I just hit record. Do we have your permission to record this conversation for the purposes of the 75th Jubilee?
you have my permission completely.
Thank you, totally. Bye bye.
Totally. Goodbye.
Oh
Thank
gosh,
you.
thank you. I love your joyous spirit, Mian. Thank you so much. And to just echo what Glenn just said, thank you so much for participating in this. As the co-chair, I am so committed to documenting the lived experiences of NTL members across the decades. And most of us span decades, so we're not locating ourselves in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, because we've been such important figures to the success of NTL. And so I'm very appreciative of you agreeing to talk about your experience in NTL as we turn 75. So this is our 75th Jubilee. So I'd like to start with asking you a little bit about yourself. I know that you are domiciled in the United Kingdom, but would you mind telling me a little bit about how you became a professional in this field? What is a little bit of your background?
So, I'm Chinese, born in Hong Kong, grew up in America, went to Washington, D.C. to finish the last year of high school, then went on to undergraduates in Baltimore, then did my PhD in University of Maryland. And in my first lecture, undergraduate lecture, there's a professor called Dr. Calvert. He started telling story about lipid and lipid, the summer camp, and the different kind of length of a line and all the laboratory experimentation. I just pop my, my slanted eye, I pop my eyes open and say, good grief, these are just fascinating stuff. So lecture after lecture, I just trembling listening to all the early experimentation in OD. And then halfway through the semester, I walk up to him and ask a very Chinese question. I said, "Can you make a living out of this?" And he laughed. He said, "Yes. The field is called organization development." I said, "What kind of living could you make?" He said, "If you continue your graduate study, you could be an academic education person, or you can be a practitioner, a consultant." And I said, "How do you get there? I mean, that's my first year of uni." And he
Mm-hmm.
said, "In the rest of the university, pick up any behavioral science." At that time, I don't even know the term behavioral science. They say, like what? Sociology, anthropology, social psychology, psychology, economic behavior. And, being a very compliant Chinese young woman, I literally listened to him and signed up for all these courses that completely overburdened myself. But every single tutorial, lecture, discussion was fascinating. I was hooked 160% into the field. And then after my university, after I get my PhD, then I become an academic and in one of the University of Virginia. For better or for worse, then I fell in love with a Scottish academic in Oxford. So I moved to UK and been here, been married 41 years. That's a long time. And when I moved here, I couldn't find any academic job because OD is not a well-known field in UK, and only Tavistock people know about OD. So then I become forced into a practitioner to start building community. I have a full-time job in developing community, and then I have a full-time job from the central government to give OD consultancy to any charity they fund. Well, that's the beginning of my life in OD and never look back. Been practicing all this year, 4 decades, and I think I still wake up in the morning and thank God I am in OD because in doing OD, my life is so enriched. So that's my humble beginning, Kathy.
Oh, I've learned some things. I'm so excited. Thank you. I did not know you went to the University of Maryland. I live up the street from the University of Maryland. That is so exciting, and lots of reasons for it. But Mee-Yan, thank you for that wonderful sharing. When you talked about Tavistock, did you work with Tavistock and in Europe?
Yes, I work with them, but I never really. Oh gosh, this is a public video, isn't it? So I better be careful what I said. I never comfortable with their form of behavioral science.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
However, I deeply respect them. I continue to take courses from them, and I
Mm-hmm.
learn a lot. But if you were to ask me to choose affiliation to Tavistock, which is very prestigious, or
Mm-hmm.
NTL, I
Mm-hmm.
think I need to be honest. I still want to be affiliated with NTL more than Tavistock.
Mm-hmm. Well, we love you for that, and thank you very much. I have some wonderful memories of Leroy Wells and Tavistock and A.K. Rice, so I would love to have a conversation with you at another time. But this is the Jubilee, and so when we talk about thank God for being in OD, tell
Yeah.
me how your values coincide with that. What is the value point for you in organization development, and what keeps you here?
Well, I just finished developing a free resource called the OD Competency app, which the second final version going to launch at the third week of June. And and I wrote a, section called OD Values and Ethics, because values
Yes.
and ethics are not competency, because it should permeate and infiltrate every single area of competency practice. And I think the whole emphasis on democracy, we are shamelessly humanistic. We are shamelessly passionate about fighting against inequality, inequity, and fight for equality in every level.
Mhm.
We understand how to diagnose how inequality structure all aspect of organization, community, society, and we have the theory to support us to design and execute intervention to move the system from a very stuck stage, an unhealthy stage, to a healthy stage. We are very client centric. We believe the system has the ability to solve its own problem. So we are not riding roughshod and experts roll over the clients. We are always in collaboration. So, and the fact that a genuine respect for people within the system who can actually solve their own problem gave me tremendous pride that I am a professional in OD. And every job teach me as a practitioner different bits about applied behavioral science. And so, as I do, as many of you know, as we do this OD work, we do our own work. I think that I become a much better human being by the practice of OD. I don't know whether I answer your question, but that.
Oh, there is no right answer, but your answer is really right. So there may not be a right answer, but your answer was really right. Thank you. So if we think about that and then turn our attention to the story of your experience and your life in NTL, inside the NTL community, would you talk as much as you choose about what are the things that are attractive to you? What keeps you an NTL member? Would you share with me some of those times when you were excited about being an NTL member and the contributions that you made to NTL?
Well, maybe I should chunk your question into different bits. The first bit is how do I come across NTL? I have no idea. Someone said to me I need to go to experience a tea group, and I'm just really game. So I signed up for a tea group. It was run in Washington D.C. Is that in a trade union college or somewhere? And
Yes,
and
yes.
yeah, so there's about 18 of us, and
Mhm.
there were two facilitator or two whatever tea group runner, and that experience was just so dynamo. Well, one of the things that really helped me to get hooked about since then, I attend 7 tea group. I couldn't have enough of tea group because it's fascinating to watch the human
Mhm.
dynamics evolve and how much I learn in every different context with different participants. The first one, there's a there's a wonderful man called Chris. I'm just going to call him Chris. He is
Okay.
6'4", dreadlocks down to his bum, and he sit down. He say, "I have no desire to get to know you this week, so you should call me Professor so and so." And so I thought, oh, he's so interesting. Let me go chase after him. so so I immediately learned to do one thing. I say, you really hurt my feeling because you're one of the most attractive person. I said, not sexually, but just attractive person. And I
Mhm.
want to get to know you. And you already shut the door. Now, I never do things like that. But whoever groomed me to go to tea group say, you need to experiment your behavior. And I thought,
Mhm.
okay, and then he said, well, I really don't need to know you and don't want to know you. Well, too bad if that's how you feel. But make the long story short, the third day he came and gave me a business card. I say,
Mhm.
why? Why are you giving me a business card? He say, this is only for you. You can contact me. I think I like you. Okay, so
Oh, Leon. Okay.
the
I
the
think I
fifth
know.
day, the fifth day, he gave me another business card. I said, you gave me one already. Oh, that one I don't use. This is the real one. Oh, Chris. Okay, so I should throw away the one you gave me 2 days ago. And then Saturday morning, he gave everybody a card. And I say, Chris, is that the fourth one or the real one? He said, it's the real one. And
Oh.
and then he kept in touch. When he got married, he brought his bride during honeymoon to come to Oxford. And he
Oh.
stayed friend with my two daughters. And he's a long, fast friend. And that's what the first tea group. And that experience, say, good grief, how magical it is. And there are many more stories from that one tea group. And there are
How
many more
messy.
stories, yeah, there are many more
Oh
stories
my
from
goodness.
other tea group, and I'm just hooked. And I think this is what it is. When people use behavioral science to run these sort of laboratory group, the revelation of who we are, how we window, taking risks, doing experimentation, finding your authentic self, finding what is your persona, I just couldn't have enough. It's like a 8 courses banquet, set before
Mhm.
me. I say, whoever run this need to be back up. This institution cannot go. And at that time, I hardly know about NTL. And so that's the first experience. I just want to chunk it to tell you. Isn't that a
Okay.
lovely story?
Oh, it's a lovely story. And again, it's a decade and a generational story. So what lovely memory, what wonderful affirmation of one of our major products or technologies. So keep going.
Okay,
Next.
so then I came back to England. And Phil Mix, a very long-standing member
Yes.
in NTL, came to see me and said, "You don't want to help so and so," because at that time I was going to dedicate myself to support another UK-based institution to
Mhm.
do
Mhm.
OD. And Phil
Mhm.
Mix, being a very, very loyal NTL, and say, "You don't want to do that. You want to put your effort in NTL." I said, "What do you
Mhm.
mean by that?" And he's the instigator, he's the stirrer. And at that time, I own a company, he doesn't. He's a freelancer.
Mhm.
So I then let him persuade me to start having discussion with David Osborne and Margaret,
Yes. Yes.
and yeah,
I
about
remember.
bringing the whole OD certificate program over to Europe, to Oxford first. And the discussion was not easy, but it proceeded. And I enter into this with my eyes open, knowing that not only there won't be any money to be made, but also decided it's important to kind of to comply with the NTL situation right then, that they're not liable for any loss, and but we are sharing 50-50 profit.
Mm-hmm.
And the first the first cohort, um, Brenda Jones and Michael Bresso,
Bravo.
yeah,
Yes, Michael
came
Bravo.
and won. And I recruited 20 people, and they all were fascinated by NTL. And from then on, I ran 10 cohorts, and
Oh my goodness.
every cohort have more and more people. I think the pride and joy are twofold. One is right now, even though I retire at 10th cohort, but I think they're into 14 cohort now. We have close to 400 graduates in NTL, and they are very tight bunch, and they are making a big difference in the OD scene in Europe. So they're one sets of a really appreciative joy that to know that, being persuaded by Phil, keeping my eyes shut or open to enter into this venture. And then this program is very well established. But on the other hand, I'm also incredibly proud and appreciative about having been given a role to contribute. I really, don't quote me on the number. I think minimum $500,000 to NTL, because
Oh,
all the
thank
program
you.
were making money later on, and all the profit are shared. And so I feel, as you look back, looking at legacy, and I'm at the stage of looking at legacy because
Mhm.
I just turned 70. And as I look
Mm.
back, I thought there's a period. Um, Someone told me between JAB income and the income from the European NTL OD certificate program, they can start running for a couple of months in the beginning of the year. And I am
Oh,
very
that is
appreciative
wonderful.
of giving that role. Yeah. So it sounds like I'm bragging, but it's
Yeah.
not. It is a
No,
humbling
no, no,
experience.
no. Mm.
Yeah. So
And
so that's
when we,
you go.
oh, I was just going to affirm that when we talk in an appreciative way, we do talk about without being humble, because we do make these contributions, and that's what the Jubilee is all about, to really learn about our contributions, our use of self in the organization, and the whole history of how we have been so connected and so supportive and loving of our organization. So I'm appreciative of you giving us this history, and thank you for that, and thank you for your contributions. And by the way, Queen, as you celebrate your 70th year and your platinum jubilee, congratulations on coming into that decade.
Well, I'm not really a royalist, but I do my bits. I cook food for the neighborhood street party, and that's my contribution.
Mhm.
But anyway, the NTO, the thing is, throughout this period, I have one thought: no one should let NTL die, because NTL, when you look back to the history, the
Mhm.
significant contribution NTL has, to the beginning of the field, the publishing and the program and the standing NTL has. If NTL fold up tomorrow, nobody benefit from that. And there
Mhm.
is a passion. I mean, I know eventually you're going to ask me what's my future hope. I just
Mhm.
hope that NTL will practice, our members will practice what we preach. Those amazing humanistic principle about collaboration, working as a network, understand systemic dynamic, working through interdependency, and practice benevolent presence. And we always ask people to forgive themselves, because this tray is hard. And I wonder whether we can extend that self forgiveness to forgiveness of others. And for us to become that dynamic community that just by people joining us, watching us, they will learn something about how magical, applied behavioral science is. And I think one thing I deeply appreciate NTL is it is a symbol of that dynamic aspect of living together. The other thing that about OD and NTL, because of the justice emphasis, that I
Mm-hmm.
always say to myself, OD and through NTL is really safeguarding civil society. It's not just a field we can make money consulting in organization. It's a field that we can continue to help strengthen civil society. And I think that calling has to be strong to all of us in this very special time of Jubilee.
Mm. What a lovely thing. Safeguarding civil society. Wow. I think those words are so important, and I will ask now so that I won't forget. But when we do the video and we're doing quotes, significant quotes, I hope you give us your permission to use that one. Uh, the idea of what is NTL in the world and the importance of safeguarding civil society. Of course, we would let you preview it before we put it in quote unquote the can. But I think that that is a significant quote, and I would love to use that clip for the full video if that's something that you find uh,
Kathy,
acceptable.
I'm not precious about copyright and what I say. You don't even need to get permission. I'm a woman of free resource. So you use
And
whatever you need.
so am I. So am I. But um, as the official, it's important to ask. So
Okay.
there we go with that. Yes. So you talked about NTL, and we cannot let NTL quote unquote die. And I think this Jubilee celebration has really kindled or rekindled that commitment in many people who have been part of it. When we finish, we should have over 75 interviews, and I'm so humbled and appreciative of that. Do you have things that you would like to see NTL either stop, start, or continue doing as we set ourselves up for our next 75 years? What would you like to see?
I was very excited about Dave Jemison being appointed for the main reason is I think NTL need to get back on the one way is to get back on the academic roots of
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
having scholarly activities and publishing and printing, because it's very hard to find academic practitioner scholar those three things. And I think a
Mm-hmm.
number of NTL members are so experienced. They're both scholar, educationist, practitioner, and academic. And I think we need to restore that because in order to get other university and other people respect us, that we need to resume that. And the second thing is, I don't know whether it is even within Dave Jemison's mandate, which is
Mm-hmm.
to really gain university accreditation for some of our
Oh
programs. you know
yeah.
so
Mm-hmm.
like for example, I mean, I at the age of 70, I don't want to get any degree, but if you actually count how many lab I got to, I have done 8 labs and plus, I don't know, 8
Mm-hmm.
workshops,
Mm-hmm.
um
Mm-hmm.
and it's just that if you add up those, which is almost always 6 days a module, dealing my
Mm-hmm.
time. So if you have those learning, I just hope that people will get accreditation so people can cumulatively build up to a degree or certificate that are
Mm-hmm.
recognized by the professional world. We as a professional organization, our job is really to watch out for talent pipeline, because there's not a lot of very strong talent pipeline. At least we don't intentionally build them. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
obsessed about talent pipeline. In Europe, I always kind of look for potential, and then I
Mm-hmm.
handpick them and bring them to a program. And if they can't pay, I find scholarship
Mm-hmm.
for them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really about helping us to know we become the place that serious OD practitioner will come for training, you know,
Yes,
because
yes.
they're nowhere else. I mean, you can go to university. I mean, for example, Bowling Green, Steve Cady has a very good PhD program, but that's very
Mm-hmm.
academic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
which is a very strong foundation, and I'm all for it. But where else, if you look at the competitive market, where else can you get the practitioner experience?
Yes.
So, so I think that the second wish is to really find accreditation for accumulative sets of program that individual would take their time to pick up and run, but you would then offer a very special thing for them. Once they get to a certain level, you can certify them and give them a credibility that they can operate in outside world. Right now, NTL is so much better known in Europe. The
Mm-hmm.
employer,
Mm-hmm.
anybody put that I have an NTL certificate, the corporate world will begin to say, "Ooh, they are the one that who know OD," and that's where we
Mm-hmm.
need to get to
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
America. Um,
Yeah. Returning to some of the things that we have done well and we maybe want to restart or continue, and absolutely create new opportunities. So the academic accreditation, you're right. I know Steve Cady's program, and I love the idea of NTL creating practitioner scholars and scholar practitioners, depending upon whether you are more focused on at the professor or more focused on at the practitioner. But we should be able to offer both.
yes, well, or the third thing is to start building kind of partnership with people like Steve, who also love NTL, and to see whether after they do a degree program, if they add some NTL program in there, they get a double degree or double certificate. I don't know what.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, the field need to be recognized because we're so inclusive that whoever say they are OD practitioner, they are OD practitioner, and and because no one has the gut to really externally certify people except
Mm-hmm.
ODN USA, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
know how that is going.
Mm-hmm.
That we need to find a way without certifying to link our intervention and developmental intervention with academic program, and
Mm-hmm.
we need to be innovative, but the energy has to be outside, not inside. And I think that NTL maybe in the past spent far too much energy looking inside, trying to sort out a happy family, which is unattainable. I think that as we focus on the outside, we might become a very happy family because the result will be amazing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we certainly will be able to do our action research, learning from each other and generating new knowledge in the field.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Hmm. Oh, Mee-Yan, thank you so, so much. Um, are there any other things that you would like to talk with us about before we say our thank you or before we say this concludes our interview with Dr. Mee-Yan?
I think I already talked too much, and
No, 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 no.
I just want to say thank you to all the veteran and volunteer like you. Without people like you, NTL will never survive. So thank you for all the people who just work freely for NTL. There are a number of us that really appreciate. We do different things for NTL, but we
Hmm.
understand in the back room, there's
Yes.
a group of you that is amazing. The second thing is to really come and do some breakthrough program, and try it. As long as we focus on what our constituency need, as we work with our client, we always say, be a open system person. Think about what the
Hmm.
system outside that you serve need, and faithfully align the internal resources to deliver that. And then we will then get the reward from being recognized as a truly desirable commodity and organization. And I just want all of us to stand up very proud, stick up our chest wherever the world is, that we can actually say we are NTL member and NTL is magical. With that, I just
Mm.
want to say that I am interested in the last 10 years in the development of OD and NTL in the rest of the world. So
Yes.
China is really opening up. So many American OD practitioners are in there, and
Hmm.
I think is just tell you one shocking story. Someone offered to translate my book and have a
Hmm.
have a contract with Kogan Page.
Hmm.
And the day that it finished printing, it sold 8,000 copies. Now, no way these people think my book is great, right? But what it does is if it sells 8,000 copies, that means people are desperate for resources like that, right?
Yes.
Um, and so the rest of the world, the English speaking Africa are very open to that, to OD. And another story that is encourage all of us to do is in
Hmm.
one of the conference before, I forgot, I'm very bad in time. An Asian looking
Oh.
woman come up and say, would you sign your book for me? I say, of course.
Hmm.
And where are you from? And she's from the old Burma. Um,
Hmm.
and I say, but this is not my book. She looked very shy. She say, we pirate printed 200 copies. Can you not tell your publisher? And I said, okay, I can't sign this book, all right, because I can't
Hmm.
sign a pirate copy. But tell
Hmm.
me why you printed 200 copies. And she said, an American missionary introduced us to this book. And those of us who are into democratic underground movement, particularly in the government, we printed it, we all read it, and we all do different things to try to maintain, democracy. I wept. Again, it's not that my book is special. These people have no idea. Well, why do they listen to American missionary? But they printed now 400 copies, I think. And then 2 years ago, to Christmas ago, maybe three, they have the first OD conference in their country. I think that's the vision NTL members
Hmm.
need to have.
Hmm.
It's not catering, stop focusing on just America. And just like
Hmm.
I'm stop focusing on Europe. But the
Hmm.
1040 window, the latitude, the Muslim
Hmm.
world, the Philippines, you guys are very good in OD. OD start really growing very well in Mexico, you know,
Hmm.
and so the rest of the world really need OD, and so
Yes.
many of the members have so much resources. And maybe what we can do is to begin to have a bigger vision about how to enlarge our own influence and impact to maintain civil society. And that's my last word. Thank you for letting me go on
Mm.
and on.